Welcome, folks. Thank you for joining us after the premiere of episode 276. So, what did you guys think? I see we have quite a few people with us. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and let us know what you think. It's been a few days since we've had a premiere, and glad to be back. We've just been tied up with other stuff. Working on projects. We have another story that's going to be public tomorrow. Hello, Kimberly. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being here. Who else do we have here? We have quite a few people here. Are there some new folks? Are there some people who have questions for me or about the fentanyl series or about fentanyl in general, or maybe questions about Texas Pictures? I can do what I can to answer your questions. Hello, Lisa. Look at that. You put two N's on my name. What are you thinking? Holy cow. Thank you for being here, Lisa. Lisa's our storyteller. So, Lisa, what was that like? Were you in the premiere? What did you think? Carly, you're in. It's okay. Carly, you're in Connecticut? I see. And why is that? Hurtful, as in full of hurt. I wish I had shared more. I think that happens. I think that happens with everyone. That they watch the story when it's all finished and they look at it and they go all armchair quarterback and start thinking, "Well, I should have mentioned this. I should have said something about this." You know, that it's just one of those things. Well, thanks, Brad. I appreciate that. Passed out some boxes of Narcan today. Good job, Lisa. Look, right here. We have some right here. I should hold it right, like I'm selling something. We're going on the road again in a few days. We're going to be going to Florida again, shooting stories in Cocoa Beach and Pensacola, and then Gulfport, Mississippi. And I have some Naloxone in the form of Narcan with me that I'll be giving out while I'm there, you know, until I run out or whatever. Lisa, thank you for sharing the story. There's been, I don't know, I can tell you in a minute how many people have already watched it. It'll just take me a moment here. Let's see. So far, 600 and 700 people have watched Caitlin's story so far. 706. So, do we have any cups? We do have cups for sale, Brad. We have cups, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and they're all on sale on the link on our website. If you go to our website, not the YouTube channel, not our Facebook page, but our website, you can find a link on the page, and that'll take you to the store. Lisa says tomorrow is Fentanyl Awareness Day. And it is also Caitlin's 28th birthday. So timing worked out really special for Caitlin's story, since tomorrow's her birthday. Glenn, me and my son have a friend that doesn't know what he is snorting up his nose last week. You know, and unless you have a lab, you never know what you're snorting up your nose. That's not a... You don't get prescriptions from pharmacies that say, snort a rail of this. Brenda says, Lisa, thank you for having the strength of character and courage to share your daughter's journey with us. Today, it kept me clean of illicit fentanyl. Today is my 349th day. Her story will help for years, I guess is what that means. I'm looking for a coffee cup that doesn't show grime. Okay, you, Carla, why are you in Connecticut? That seems out of the ordinary. Why are you in Connecticut? Yes, it is a self-cleaning coffee cup. You have to be accommodating with it, though. You have to drink black coffee. And this coffee mug right here is available on our store. It's got the Texas Pictures logo up front. And on the back, it says stories that matter. How cool is that? And it stays clean as long as you drink black coffee. And see, there's no coffee residue in here at all. And gosh, it's been a long time since this has been washed. Get a black cup. Yeah. It's kind of the same principle as black underwear, I think. So my good son could believe and got exposed to the crap. Me and Greg, no, I'm not in Connecticut. I'm not going to be there for that. I'm going to miss that event. I know the event is happening, but I'm not going to be there. Lisa, if we all keep us in all of our prayers, that's a thing. That's the thing. Prayers work a bit of magic. They do. That's been my experience. Brenda says, Lisa, thank you. And yes, all glory goes to God. Of course, we're all God's children. And so any glory that goes to God's children goes to God, right? Is that logical? I don't know. Yes, prayers definitely work. I believe that completely. So, what did you guys think about the premiere? Those of you who are in on it, what did you think? What stood out to you? It's a wonderful story. We shot it in Portsmouth, Virginia, along with there's some other stories that we shot in Portsmouth. The one of them is the domestic violence story, the 2-part story that we premiered a little while ago. You're kidding. Unfortunately, you're still in Oklahoma. I know, Carla. Carla, you are doing you're doing incredible things. You know, I talked on the phone with Shannon. I don't know. She might be with us here We talked about the upcoming premiere and the live event. Perhaps she's with us. And I think you should talk with her. Daughter really didn't know what she was taking. Yeah, as we've been doing these stories, there's been an increasing number of stories where the victim had an idea, where the victim was either aware that fentanyl was in what they were using, or at least or was doing it intentionally. It doesn't make it any less tragic. Shannon Michaela's mom. No, that's not. I had her name. It was a little peculiar name, but she called me kind of out of the blue, and she called me out of the blue, and wound up talking for quite a while. And yeah, where is Nux? So yeah, we wound up talking for quite a while, and she shared with me information about her loved one, and the process, and she has a lot of she finds a lot of strength in her faith. That's not her, Lisa. That's not her. Brad is waiting on Brenda's recipes. Okay, Brad. So you're a cook, is that what you're saying? Glenn is really crazy here in Memphis, Tennessee, with his fentanyl. A guy in the church has overdosed, just passed away past Saturday. A guy in the church, did it happen in church? No, those are not Emmys. Behind me, they are called Telly Awards, and Telly Awards are like industrial Emmys. They are they're awards for industrial production, for training and safety videos, for things that aren't broadcast in a traditional sense. And so one or two of those awards are for stories about fentanyl, one or two are about stories about impaired driving, one is about distracted driving. I don't want one's about a police officer who was killed by a drunk driver. Churches need to have Narcan too. Yeah, yeah, they do. But that brings up an interesting point that I feel I should take this opportunity to sort of hammer home if I can do that. Let me see if I can find the graphic pretty easily. I am hoping it'll work out. Oh, look at there. Maybe. Oh, no, that would be way too easy. Shoot. All right, well, we'll look here. And what I'm looking for is a graphic that a lot of you usual suspects who are here often, you already know what the graphic is. I found it. All right. And so, that didn't work out right. Okay. Oh, Interesting. All right, so here's the way we're going to do this. This is going to be interesting. So we're going to bring up a graphic in a moment. First, I'm going to slide over this way a little bit, and I'm going to show you guys this graphic. That's 6 different versions of naloxone. They are all administered the same way, and they are all 100% equally effective, but only one of those 6 boxes says Narcan. All 6 boxes say naloxone. So it's really important to tell people naloxone, because naloxone is the active ingredient. And I can certainly see a couple of people arguing about whether this box that says Cloxato on it is going to work for their friend who's laying on the floor dying, because the box doesn't say Narcan on it somewhere, but it does say naloxone. So it's important to stay aware of naloxone is the drug. Narcan is a brand. Like this is Narcan. Walgreens makes a version of this. So there's a lot of things out there that will say naloxone, and that is what matters. Glenn, you're a genius. Why? What happened? Okay, Lisa, we can call them Emmys if you like. A really cool award, I think, though, is this one right here. This one right here. This one is the award that you get from YouTube when you get over 100,000 subscribers, and that was way cool to me. Brenda, you're killing me. Yeah, we're going to update it soon. I'm going back to Florida in a couple of days, 3 days. I'm going back to Florida, so there'll be new locations in Florida and Gulfport, Mississippi. And so it's probably somewhere on that trip, I will do my thing. I will update the map and add the missing stars. Okay, so if any of you are wondering what map is she talking about, it's this map. This map shows the places where we have had storytelling summits. And right now, there needs to be 3 more stars along the northern side of Florida, and another star in Denver, Colorado. And I feel like I'm free. And another star in Virginia. And all of these happened within the last 2 years, 2.5 years. So that's a little bit, it's a little bit overwhelming, I think. So Kimberly, my son told me if he takes it with him, that his friend will ask him, does he know what to use if I had him to watch the video on YouTube on my phone? Does he know? Yeah, and there's actually a couple of videos that involve naloxone. So, oh no, it fell off my desk. It's just a nasal spray. That there are some it's simple. Jam it up the victim's nose as far as it will go, either nostril, doesn't matter. Push the plunger. You want to keep the airway clear. But if they don't come to in a couple of minutes, give them another dose. And you do the same thing. Either nostril, it could be the same nostril as the first time, it could be a different nostril. Doesn't matter even a little bit. And so Brenda says, I was in Gulfport in Biloxi in August 2020, in August 2005, just before the hurricane wiped out most of the Gulf Coast. That sounds not fun. Carla, I lost my beautiful daughter, Rain, while she was in Virginia. Lisa, still no justice. Jam it. Yes, Lisa, jam it. What are they going to do? They're not conscious. They're not going to object. And if they do object, that would be a good sign. So yeah, just jam it up there and see what happens. Now there is a video on our website about administering naloxone that goes into more detail. It talks about what kind of symptoms to look for, how to administer it, how to keep the airway clear. You can do chest compressions, things like that. And there's a couple of videos on our site about that. You should look at them, and there's other videos out there as well. And on the box right here, there is instructions. So, holy cow, it's really not complicated. So I've sat through a couple of presentations that are naloxone training. And literally, I gave you the meat of it already. Jam it up their nose, keep their airway clear, chest compressions, breathe for them if you want. And that's the whole thing. That's a couple of sentences, right? 3 sentences, 4 sentences. And these presentations go an hour or 2. Because the presentations aren't just about administering naloxone, because there's nothing to it. It shouldn't be intimidating. If you find someone who is unconscious and it is not opioid related, naloxone will do nothing. If I spray naloxone up my nose right now, it would do nothing. Nothing. There is no downside to using naloxone on someone at all. Worst case scenario is it doesn't make any difference. But if it is opioid related, naloxone can save a life. So I hope that's clear, folks. That naloxone is important. Glenn and I have watched plenty of videos on YouTube about how to use naloxone on someone. So, right, Kimberly, it's easy. There's really nothing to it. You can literally read this 5-panel instruction on the box. You check the airway, you administer naloxone, you call 911, watch and give another dose, and then stay. When I would that thing about the order there, I've heard some presentations say call 911 and then administer naloxone. Other presenters have said administer naloxone and then call 911. I think administer naloxone while you're screaming at the people around you to call 911. But making that call is vitally important, gigantically important. Because if someone is revived with naloxone, they're likely to believe they're okay now. And they may not be. Naloxone can wear off before the opioid that caused the overdose wears off. We have a couple of stories on our channel where that happened and the person died. So it's vital, regardless of how coherent the victim is, to still get medical attention, get emergency medical attention right away. Vital, vital. And so the other thing that happens when you revive someone with naloxone, there's a pretty fair chance when they do come to, they're going to be pissed off. They're not going to realize, they're not going to remember that they were unconscious, and they're certainly going to have no clue that they were dying. But they're going to come to, and their buzz is gone. And they're probably in the beginning stages of withdrawal. So they're not likely to be in a good mood. Some people don't want it. Yeah, okay, I had an interesting thing happen at a church that I just happened to be there when they were restocking the first aid kit that's mounted on the wall. And I said, you guys need naloxone. And I said naloxone because it's that important to say naloxone rather than Narcan, even though Narcan is a much easier word to say. So I said that you guys need naloxone. And the guy who was restocking it looked at me kind of puzzled. And like he didn't know what it was. So I explained to him what it was. And he's got this look like, yeah, we don't have any drug addicts here at this church. Yeah, you probably do. But I didn't say that. Instead, I pointed out to him that a lot of people are walking through the parking lot. Sometimes it's homeless folks. Sometimes it's people who have a problem with drugs or mental illness or whatever. So it could be someone walks through the parking lot who needs it, even though clearly none of the congregation needs it. And that made him feel okay. That made him feel like it was reasonable to have naloxone in their first aid kit. And so they did. They still do. Not that I'm saying what church it was. Brenda says, Lisa, it's so sad that some people cannot open their mind and listen to reason. Yeah. It is. And there's you don't expect a fire, but you have fire extinguishers. Now they're required by law, but even if they weren't, you'd probably have a fire extinguisher or two. When are you coming to Oklahoma City again? I don't know. We could do another summit in Oklahoma City, or we could do a summit someplace kind of near Oklahoma City isn't there casinos up there or something? We could make it kind of a happy event. No, I don't have butterscotch flavored lifesavers. That's not. Huh. I would. You give me a craving for butterscotch lifesavers now. That's weird. Yeah, I don't know what you're saying really too, Brad. I think there's a delay between what I say and when people respond. I don't think it's because the entire audience is slow. But if you're saying really, yeah, I could see doing something somewhere in Oklahoma that's a cool venue where some people may come just to be with others who maybe have already shared their story or don't necessarily want to share their story, but want to meet others who have been through similar experiences. Maybe that could be, I don't know, not all fun, but it could have some fun to it. Don't you think? Ha, Carla? No, we're not planning to move to Oklahoma City. It would be more central. So when we do road trips, we just go out like spokes of a wheel. A storytellers reunion or a storytellers gathering. We have storytellers from all over. You remember the map? I showed you the map earlier. We have storytellers from all over. So uh, we have storytellers from all over, and so some of them have never met each other. It'd be much like going to the rally in Washington D.C. that's coming up in October. I want to say like mid late October, like the 17th to the 24th. I'm not sure, but we went last year when it was like in July. It's kind of warm, so maybe something that is just not really about shooting interviews, but just having a little time to hang out, have some quality time with no schedule, no agenda, no got to be here at this time. You know, maybe and there's some place in Oklahoma, like southern Oklahoma, suited for that. So, Kimberly, you said my son doesn't understand why I'm doing this, and I have explained to him that I don't want to see anyone else dying. That's a pretty good explanation. There's a thing that I often tell the storytellers after an interview. I point out to them that the last part of a person's life is oftentimes, and maybe every time, someone else's lesson. And that's no consolation, but it's important, almost beautiful in a way. And so when people share their stories, when people do things to get their story out there, not necessarily with Texas pictures, not necessarily on YouTube. It can be in person, it can be talking to students in classrooms, it can be whatever. You're sharing that lesson that your loved one is screaming. At least crime could be better. Okay, yes, for sure. I think it could always be better. A thing about crime that over the last 30 years, reported crime in the United States has declined dramatically. Dramatically. But you never hear people report that because there's no excitement in that. And there's no money in it either. If there was money in it, it would be different. But that is a big pill to swallow. The declining crime rate? Yeah, it is. Because all the information we ever receive is that crime is on the rise. Ronald Reagan got elected on a tough on crime campaign. And he was right. Crime rates were insanely high then. Lots of other presidential candidates since then, winners and losers both, have run on the same kind of combat rising crime campaign that just aren't true. Google it. Google it. Just Google it. I don't believe I have the graphic. I might. But crime is down. Back in the 70s or 80s or 90s, when you walked to school, that was more dangerous then than it is today. That's hard to believe, isn't it? Google it. Google crime rate trends in the United States for the last 20 years, 30 years. Okay, let me get back to the questions. Fentanyl has a smell. No, fentanyl does not have a smell. If it's being smoked, the burning aluminum foil that it's resting on, that can have a smell. If it's in a vape, that can have a smell. Kimberly says overdose hasn't come down. I still see it on my Facebook page. Overdose is still very high, but there have been reports of a decline. And so the current administration would try to embrace the decline as something they've done. The decline began during the last administration, or it sort of leveled off during the last administration. But I seriously doubt that any change in the overdose rate had anything to do with actions by any administration. It's more likely that a decline in overdose deaths is because of more awareness efforts. There are tons of nonprofit organizations out there now that are doing all kinds of things to bring awareness to high school students and to the general public and all of that. That is much more likely to deserve the lion's share of the credit for any kind of decline in the death rate than anything any administration has done. This crisis has been going on since 2013. 2013. 12 years. During that time, the overdose rate climbed dramatically and continually. The crisis spanned 4 administrations and includes both parties. And no one has done anything substantial to stop it. Maybe a little bit is happening now. Maybe. Okay. What have I missed? Lisa, fentanyl has a smell only when it's smoked, no smell when swallowed, snorted, or shot. And the smoking smell could be from something else. The marijuana now stinks. Wouldn't have touched it in the 70s. Where was it? Smelled like... Brenda says, weed has always smelled like skunk perfume. What the hell is that? Skunk perfume? Like, so you can smell like a skunk, or perfume you use on a skunk to make them smell better, or what? I don't... Skunk perfume. I like that. That's good. It's good. I think it's good. I'm just, I don't understand what it would be. It does smell like skunk. Okay. Brenda, the stuff I smoked smelled sweet. It didn't stink and smell like 2 mating skunks got run over. Oh. Wow. 2. While they're mating. Gee, Lisa. Wow, that's harsh. Golly. Good job. Yeah, I think we should all quote that. Smells like 2 mating skunks got run over. Brenda says, I'm so borrowing that. Glenn, you don't understand because you're not a skunk shopping for perfume. That must be it. You know. I just saw a weird thing happen there. I don't know what happened. But, okay. Wow, how weird. Put it on a shirt. We have our shirt process pretty much sorted out for now. There are shirts on our store. We have a store on our website. Sorry. Texas-pictures.com. So I want to thank you all for being here. I really appreciate having you guys along. We have I notice on our what would you call this? Our analytics page for this live event, it says our chat rate is at 4. I don't know what that means, but I think it's pretty good. Usually it's down around 2, but we're doing better here. It seems like we must, just judging by the size of the crowd, we must have some new folks in the audience today. Is there anyone who wants to share where they're at, or what brought them here, how they came to be a part of the group? On a shirt, you need weed smells like 2 mating skunks got run over. So, Lisa, have you seen? I've seen them on Facebook before. But before I talk about that, folks, we have right now. There's 57 people in the live event, and we have 9 likes Just a thumbs up thing. It's right down here somewhere, right? Come on, just click the thumbs up. So, Lisa, you've seen the on Facebook. You'll sometimes see video that shows people reacting kind of hysterically to a person wearing one of those MAGA hats. I bet a t-shirt like that would get the same kind of hysterical, kind of over the top reaction from a whole different audience, you know. You have, Carla. Well, that's so convenient that you would mention that because we have a store on our website. If you go to the homepage on our website, texas-pictures.com, there's a link at the bottom of the homepage that says merchandise or store or something. I don't know. But it's there, whatever it says. It'll be obvious. It'll be self-explanatory. So who else is with us? We have a lot of people here with us this evening, and surely there's some new folks that might want to join in the chat. If you're watching on your TV, on your smart TV, and you're watching this that way, you can still log in on your phone as well, and you can use your phone to engage in the chat while you keep watching what we're doing on the big TV. Not that I particularly merit a big TV, but you can do that. Kimberly says, my mom told me before she passed away that I don't want to get sprayed from skunk. Yeah. Elaine Gray. I live in the Poconos. Well, welcome, Elaine. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you joining us. And you're a storyteller. You're a Texas Pictures sponsor. You're a member. That's awesome, Elaine. I'm guessing I've probably seen comments from you for some of the stories before. And it just makes me smile. It's cool to see members here, and no pressure, folks. We're not trying to promote the idea of you becoming a member. You're always welcome to be a member, but all of our content is accessible whether you're a member or not. The Real Creative Minds. Hello, Glenn and chat. I'm here. I stop in from time to time. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm glad you're here. So were you part of the premiere? Did you see the premiere of our latest story? Wait, I must have missed something. Update on my husband. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Some stuff got away from me here. Brenda says, update on my husband. My beloved had a ping pong ball sized tumor removed from his neck yesterday morning. Surgeon was able to get the entire mass. I was able to bring him home this afternoon. He is doing very well. Thank you all for keeping him in your prayers. 41 years with him is nowhere close to enough, so the tumor came back non-cancerous. So All right, so my big question, a ping pong ball size tumor removed from his neck. It's terrible, I know. But the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear something like that is, did they let you bring it home in a jar? You know, what a great conversation piece to have sitting on the mantle. Yeah, that's my husband's tumor. We thought it'd be a good conversation starter. Kind of weird, huh? Okay, fine. Pocono Mountains. Brenda, I'm going to keep your husband in my prayers. Hello, Elaine. I appreciate you stopping in, the Real Creative Minds. I feel like there's a story. There is some serious thunder going on outside. Made the building shake. Okay. Elaine says, I'm a member. I love your channel. My stepson is a heroin addict going on 18 years on this roller coaster. So Elaine, you know, we have a series of recovery stories on our channel as well. It's in the playlists, and there is about 40 recovery stories, and there's some that are kind of crossovers. Like we have a cannabis-induced psychosis story that is also a recovery story, and it's probably not moved into that playlist yet. And Elaine says, I hope you have many more years together, says to Brenda about her husband with the ping pong ball in his neck. Uh, Elaine, I believe in being clean and sober living. Yeah, of course. Brenda Miller, he's sure. Elaine says he sure does. And we put him in rehab several times. He always ends up leaving. Plus, his mother buys his drugs for him. So there's that. Well, that's pretty rough. Now, addicts tend to figure out a way to get their drugs, whether someone close to them helps them out or not. They find a way. And oftentimes it's not pretty. It needed to be tested. Well, don't they just cut a little piece off of it? You know? You asked for it. That's funny. I can believe that you asked for it. That's cool. Okay, so no one I asked for it, but they needed to be tested. Thanks. We tried everything, but with his mom enabling him, we don't stand a chance. Yeah, there's always a chance. If he's still breathing, there's a chance. Not that I have no clue what your next step should be, but you got to know that there is a chance. There's always a chance for recovery. There's always hope for recovery. The real goal is that he has to get to a point where he wants it, where he really wants it. Until then, it's not. There's nothing you can do. Brenda says, Elaine, I'm sorry, but until he wants to get clean, nothing will help. Well, okay, look at there. Just tell him you are there for him when he wants to get clean. I don't know what I did there. Until then, just keep praying for him, and I will add him to my prayer list. What kind of mom would poison her son? I'm sure it's not a matter of a mother choosing, all right, let's poison him. It's a matter of the mother having a perception that it's not bad. That if the mother and the son are both doing it, it somehow that kind of validates it as being okay. Addicted to the addiction. She loves the drama. Yeah, there are people like that. That certainly happens. People get wrapped up in that whole in the drama. There are people who like having crisis in their lives, that they need it in order to feel important. To always have that thing that they can say, yeah, we're still fighting with this, and I did this and this and this, and sometimes they'll make someone else's struggle all about them. Seems a little like a little bit of a leap, but okay, he will be 36 in October. We've been doing this since he was 15. Well, you can't give up, Elaine. Elaine, if he has a pulse, then there is hope. God will snatch him out of the active addiction. You tell her, Brenda. Elaine, she is addicted along with her son. That there breaks my heart. Yeah, that is a tough spot. That people when people are in their addiction, that's the big priority. Every minute of every day is devoted to finding your next fix, finding your next whatever you're addicted to. How feeling important and can't function in life. Yeah. Brenda says, Elaine, my active addiction lasted between 18 and 19 years. God saved me even after I gave up on him. Hmm. We are up to 15 likes. It's nice to see that little spike. Thumbs up, folks. So, Elaine, please don't give up. I know for a fact because it took me many times, but God had an angel call my son's phone and told me to stop smoking pot. Kimberly will have a new cannabis-induced psychosis story coming out tomorrow. Probably. Close to definitely. So what about some of the other people in the room? Is there some other folks, some people who might have some questions about Texas Pictures or about the last story or any of the other stories? I just always like to remind everyone that this is a open forum and you're welcome to ask whatever, comment whatever. I mean, keep it clean and relatively clean and all that. Gosh, Kimberly, it isn't set yet. It could just be published. It may not be a premiere. It probably will not be a premiere. But there is a series. I don't know. I think there's about 7 or 8 stories in the series now. And so there's plenty to go see right now. Not right now because, we're doing this, but when we're done with this, you could go watch a cannabis-induced psychosis story. Brenda says, to Kimberly, God used Glenn as my angel to save me from active addiction. Brenda says that a lot, and it's really nice. My good son being asking me, what am I watching on YouTube? Your godson. Yeah, I can read. I went to public schools. I can read. Jackie, good to see you here. Glad you're here. Welcome. Brenda saved Brenda's life. All of us in here are supportive of her. Miss Sheila, did Miss Sheila say she was leaving? Did I miss that? Did I miss something? I don't see Jackie. Jackie's got a check mark, prayer, and a heart. I don't know what to do with that because I'm slow like that. Good night and God bless, Miss Sheila. So I see all these hearts going off. I don't know what to do with that either, but I'm trying. So who else is in here? Who else? Where's some new faces, new voices, new screen names? What new folks? Anybody have questions for us for Texas Pictures? Questions about our series? Have you guys seen the other series that we've got in the works? We have a domestic violence. April Smith. I don't know what happened to April Smith, but I can tell you this: she might be totally tied up, getting ready for the arrival of Texas Pictures in Cocoa Beach. Could be that's what she's doing. Putting up big giant banners across the freeway that say Cocoa Beach welcomes Texas Pictures or something like that, Miss Sheila's World of Fun and Inspiration. Thank you, Brenda. Brenda, V-Day, Marianne, Viola, they must all be on a cruise without us. Did you? Okay, so the Alaska video, yeah, that was quite an adventure. I saw the psychosis series, haven't seen the domestic violence one yet. There's not that many in the domestic violence series. I believe there's 4, and 2 of them are with the same storyteller, like a part 1 and part 2. So I think there's 4 about domestic violence. And one is one story that is domestic violence and addiction recovery. So what about the Alaska video? The Alaska video is different. It's not a story about a victim. It's a story about fentanyl in Alaska. And so in that series, we interviewed Anchorage police officers. We did a ride along with Anchorage police, 2 ride alongs with Anchorage police officers. We interviewed state police. We interviewed, I want to say, 4 victim families, 4 bereaved parents. Kimberly says a mother on my Facebook page says she just lost her baby boy from an overdose. That's sad. That's terrible. Okay, that's empty. That means we're close to out of time. Don't you think it's about time to wrap it up? We're getting close. So yeah, so the Alaska story, it's not the same. It is an educational story. Gosh, Jillian. Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much. And I appreciate you being here. Look at that. We are up to 20 likes, 20 thumbs up. We have 58 people in the room and 20 but still 20 thumbs up is great. Jillian, thank you for being here. Have you joined with a live event before, or is this kind of a first time thing for you? Brenda is getting ready to bail. I see that because she says, everyone, what you take for granted, someone else is praying for. And that is so profound. That is something that is a thought to have in your head every morning. What you take for granted, someone else is praying for. Jackie says, thank you for doing what you do. I appreciate you. Thank you very much, Jackie. I feel so completely blessed to get to do this, that I get to meet a lot of incredible people. And I get to do a little bit to maybe help them feel, just a little bit better. Maybe just for a little while. And it's something. And so I feel just totally blessed. I hear from people all over the country. I get 1 or 2 inquiries per day most days from someone wanting to share their story about losing a loved one to fentanyl. And we have never, ever turned anyone away. The biggest challenge for us is always geography. We do these road trips and fly to locations. And we kind of have a system worked out. And it can be a pretty gruesome schedule, but we're working it, And so I get to meet these people all over the country, and we tend to get close kind of fast. And so it's wonderful. We don't have any sponsors, no funding. no grants, no client, no funding of any kind other than the revenue that comes from the advertising on YouTube. And that's what makes the series sustainable. It's what makes all of our content sustainable. In fact, some of our content, like the fentanyl series and the human trafficking series, subsidizes some of the other content on our channel, like the addiction recovery series. So it's a challenging balance, but we're doing it, and we get to keep making this kind of content that, it helps people. That's a big deal. Anyway, it's cool that, Jillian, it's cool that you catch some of our live events before. I feel like your name is vaguely familiar. Like it's been a while, but yeah. So anyway. Sorry, but somehow that doesn't surprise me, but is why you are genuine. Well, thanks. I'm living the dream. I really am. Even when we were in Portsmouth, I was talking with a TV station came by and did a story about what we were doing, and the camera guy, he was older, like my age, like 60 or something. Nice guy, and we talked about gear stuff. He looked at the setup that we have for shooting the interviews, and he told me that he envied what I was doing because of the freedom, the autonomy that I'm in this spot where I don't have to worry about sponsors. I don't have to worry about advertisers. I don't have to worry about anything. I'm not accountable to anyone except the storyteller and the audience, you guys. That's a sweet spot to be in. You have to turn your candy business over to your son because you can't do it anymore. That's you got to find the light in that. Is that something that your son might be excited about? That I don't know. That sounds rough. Well, saving lives is a big deal. It has to be a big deal. If you have to contribute, you have to find a way to contribute. So Kimberly, if he's excited about it, there's something cool in that. There's something cool about giving him this opportunity and all of that good stuff. I know I had another point. I had started to make another point, and then I got distracted by something one of you guys wrote. A building site for the people that are users? You mean like a shelter, a rehab kind of thing, a halfway house? Crying like tears of joy kind of crying? Like overwhelmed? That sounds like an awesome thing, Kimberly. Jackie asks, saving lives. I don't know where that question's going, Jackie. Treatment and shelter to keep them off the streets. Well, that's awesome. So I have this idea. I might have told some of you guys before. I have this idea for a series for our channel because I've got all this time. I have this idea for a series that is for homeless folks, and we could call it Messages Home, where we interview homeless and they just basically tell us what they want to share. But we have been here for quite a while, folks. We are coming up on 80 minutes. And so it is probably about time to be wrapping it up for today. I keep thinking I'm going to keep these things under an hour all the time, but holy cow, we get going. What am I going to do? So that sounds awesome, Kimberly, doing a treatment and shelter kind of thing. Jackie says, I was trying to remind you of what your post was. I'll say, okay. Glad you're here, Jackie. Saving lives. What my point was. Okay. Yeah. If you have, I believe that if you have the ability and the resources to do something that contributes, it's kind of a sin not to. So, anyway, we are going to wrap it up for tonight, folks. I can't tell you how grateful I am for all of you joining us for the premiere. And we will be back here in a few days, probably one more live before I go on the road. And then on the road, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'm going to try to sort out a way to go live once or twice while on the road. We'll see. But I want to thank you folks very much for joining us. I want to remind you guys, any of you who are interested in sharing a story with us, I know I said it before, we have never turned anyone away. Never. Looks like we probably should have, but we've never turned anyone away, and that's important to me. Well, Jillian, I hope you catch our next live too. So my point with the whole sharing a story, we have the fentanyl series, we have the cannabis-induced psychosis, human trafficking, addiction recovery, and domestic violence. And we're open to other topics too. We have a series of stories that involve impaired driving and other topics. We're open. And so if you have a story that you would like to share and you're on Facebook, we have a private Facebook group that has not all, but close to all of the storytellers in all of our series are members. A few aren't because they're not on Facebook or whatever, but most of them are members of the group. And then the group also has a lot of people who want to share their story whenever we get to whatever part of the country they're in or whatever part of the world they're in. And in the private Facebook group, Alcohol and Driving Impaired, we have a series. Not really a series. We have a set of productions in a playlist for Alcohol and Driving Impaired on our channel. And we're always up for doing more of that. I've done a lot of work with the Houston Police Department. And let me see if I can find her. Here we go. So I'm going to share it right now, since you asked about impaired driving, Kimberly. Here's a link. And that's a whole playlist of impaired driving related documentaries. Texas Pictures Stories. Some of these were produced with the Houston Police Department as the client. And they're really cool. There's a couple of them that were produced with a team of high school students. Different teams. They were created 8 or 9 years apart. So check some of those out. Anyway, so back to our Facebook group. Our private Facebook group is for people who have shared stories with us and people who wish to share a story with us at some point. And by being a part of the group, in the group, that's where we first announce any destination we're going to. It's where we keep people current on what we've got going on so that whenever we're close to their area, they'll know first and they can sign up to share a story. So that's basically, that's how it works. It's easy. So I want to thank you all for being here. I am just very grateful for you guys. So we will be back soon, probably in a couple of days. It kind of depends on editors and what other kind of stories come along. So I always like to remind people before I go the ways to reach out to us, the way to stay connected with us. So you can email us at info@texas-pictures.com. You can find us on Facebook under my name, Glenn Muse. You can friend me there and then send me a Facebook Messenger message asking to be included in the private Storytellers group, and I will send you an invite. We're also on TikTok, and you can find out more about us on our website at texas-pictures.com. There's information about how to share your story, how to organize a storytelling summit. There's information about our store, our merchandise store, where there's t-shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies and the overpriced magical self-cleaning coffee mug. And you can learn other things about us, ways to get in touch with us, mailing address, phone number, all that cool stuff. So I want to thank you guys again for joining us and wish you all a good evening, and we will see you soon.